on that call, we were like, okay, this is going to go for 2 hours. But yeah, we had to do it, we had to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of people had questions. So it was just important. That town hall answered like every question that I think we received. Yeah, I was really happy with the town hall. Anyways, yeah, we can move on.
Awesome. So one thing that was mentioned in the town hall is the IP, and that Stratlas is opening that possibility for everyone to use the Stratlas IP um, in a product, and you don't have to pay any fees up to unless you reach $1 million in revenue. And I just wanted to comment on this. And this, guys, like, this is huge. I'm not sure if everyone understands how huge this is. You
It
being
is.
able to use the Star Atlas brand and IP now, and now you also this is one of the advantages, in my opinion, of being early in the community, because right now, um, it's super easy to come to us with an idea. We review the idea, we get you connected with the legal team, and if you guys can execute on it, it gets done. And that is one of the benefits of being early and just starting to position yourself for, I don't know, when a bull market comes, for example, and you have the product, you have the Star Atlas brand, you have everything ready. And it is it is a clear example of the benefits of being early in a community. The community right now is kind of small compared to what it can be in the future. You have direct access to the team. We plan to continue having that in the future, of course, but if we grow a lot, it's going to be a lot harder. And you can have guidance from our team and everything. So I wanted to encourage everyone to just, if you're an expert in any area, you want to put together a product, you want to use the Atlas IP, just take advantage of this, because it is it is huge. It is huge. There are a lot of things you can do. There are a lot of ways you can leverage this Atlas brand, and there are just way too many possibilities. So yeah, just wanted to encourage everyone on that front to just start doing the things you wanted to do. I know we all like. I think ever since Star Atlas existed, we always got DMs. Hey, can I create this and put the Star Atlas logo in it? Can I do this and put the Star Atlas lore in it? And now that is starting to be a possibility. So it's a moment in time. You're early on it, and right now there are just no 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 products. You're not competing against a lot of people while using the Star Atlas IP. In the future, I see this as many products being built using the Star Atlas IP, and you will have to compete with other people to get the best product out there. Right now, it's a great moment in time to just start positioning yourself, just to start
Mhm.
thinking about the ideas that you have, and just start to map out the strategy or whatever you want to do. So I just wanted to encourage everyone, if you have any ideas or anything, just reach out to me, reach out to Dom. We'll get that reviewed. We'll get you connected with our legal team. And yeah, it's just a huge possibility.
Yeah,
And
and
I
just
just
to
wanted
just to
to say it.
reiterate this, uh, this moment in time right now is when like the people who are doing things today, content creation, using our IP, that you guys have the first movers advantage. You know how people always say, "Wow, the first movers advantage is incredibly hard to beat." Ethereum, all the other ones that I can think of. Uh, that is where we're at right now. This is the first movers advantage time. Products, guilds, content creators, like the people who are putting in the work right now are going to have that first movers advantage and are the ones who are going to reap benefits if they're providing value. 100%. Super, super crazy. Uh, so I just want to reiterate how important it is, and how much of a big deal this is as well. Anyways, yeah, thanks, Santi.
Awesome. Yeah. We just wanted to be very clear on it because, yeah, the possibilities are huge, and it all really, like, at this point, depends on your creativity and your ability to put together a cool product that the Stratless community could be interested in, and just starting to position yourself as the leader on that front with the Stratless branding. So yeah, I think it's everyone here just has what you were saying on that first movers advantage, and it is important. So yeah, just anything you want to add?
I mean, you guys can get started on selling Santi's action figures. You know, this is a massive business. You know, not financial advice.
Multi-billion dollar business right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you will
what's
just
next,
have to
Santi?
share revenue with me. That's the only thing. I still own my brand and my IP. I'm no.
Nah, nah, nah,
I'm
nah.
still a person,
No,
no?
you are
You guys
flexible.
Star Atlas
Exactly.
owns you, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
the,
bro.
the
It's
community
like me.
owns
You
my
know,
IP.
the guys could create a. They could even use our lore to publish books and then be rich with them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, let's move to the next one. We also wanted to cover, that there was a huge catastrophe in Turkey, and we have a big
And Syria.
Turkish community in Syria, yes, and we have a huge community in there. So if you want to support, I'm linking here the tweet. Lumina is handling also donations and all that. So if you just want to support, just take a look at that and message Lumina. And at this point, from what I understand, like every dollar matters. Any help is very important because yeah, it's a sad and huge thing that what happened in there. So yeah, if anyone wants to help, we just wanted to give it some exposure.
Yeah, sending love to coexist and all the people affected. Seriously, it's a sad day. If you can donate, if you have the means to donate, please do. I just linked a thread from Lumina, um, and he provided some ways to donate. But yeah,
Yeah, if you have the means, just consider doing that. But yeah, moving to the next topic, we just wanted to also give it just to highlight the hologram podcast that they started. I think they had Lumina as a guest, and I
Signal.
think it's awesome. It's great. Signal, sorry, Signal. I think it's awesome, and it's great content for the Star Atlas community. So if you guys want to check it out, they did like a don't hold digest and went over everything that was said. So just take a look. We think
It
it's
was
cool
actually yeah,
content for the
it was a
community.
really good video, really good video.
Awesome. Just wanted to give them some exposure here in the brew. What else? What else? What else do we have? Oh yeah, the leaks. Dumb. Those were fire, man.
Dude, the train was crazy. Actually, like that's. I mean,
I love trains, bro.
people have been asking like, when train. I made that
Wind
up. No
train.
one's been asking when train.
I'll ask when
But I've been
I
asking when train, so I was excited about the train, man. Who doesn't like trains? But yeah, no. I mean, when you start off in R2.1, I think you start off in the train. So here's the Twitter post of all the images and videos. There was the Opel Jet, the Fimble BYOS Packlight, interior pistol production, and then the showroom R2.1 train. Never seen a wind train. Well, now you have wind train. All right, yeah, we can move on.
I mean, the train is super cool. I think the video can be better seen in the leaks channel.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you want to
like
check it
the
out.
universe is being built in front of our eyes, man. It gets me so excited to think about everything. You know, like we started off with this small building block of showroom, and now we're starting to get the train. You're starting to be able to fly around, and obviously we've heard that we're still going to be able to build the warp gate later down the year. Like this universe is
book
being
people.
built, and I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. It's just, it I don't know. It gets me all antsy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's
No, I
beautiful.
totally agree.
Yeah, seeing Star Atlas take shape and in the way that we envision it, like high quality, high fidelity, and interesting gameplay mechanics and loops. Man, imagine like uh, 2 years from now, where we'll be. Like what kind of things we'll be doing together in the Staratas universe. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, man. Just my vision on this is that the UE5 progress is going a lot faster than what I expected, honestly.
Dude.
Like
Same.
it's moving so fast, so fast that it's crazy. It's only been a year and a half since we started actually like developing everything. So yeah, I'm just proud team member moment.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Okay, last quick thing before we get into the topic,
Uh,
Santi.
yeah, go for it.
I just want to give a shout out to Stardust Economy. Uh, Not only does he provide some really valuable like data analysis, he also has made a couple of tweets about donating his atlas from Score to other a variety of different things. Before I remember I saw him donate his atlas earnings from Score to a homeless person, and then this time he's converted some of his atlas from Score to make 100 meals for the less fortunate. And he coined the term "stake it forward." I think I don't know. I've never seen it before, but he's it's really incredible, man. I love it. Love to see it, and that's all I really wanted to do. Just
Yeah,
give a quick shout out to Stardust Economy. Now we yeah can
And he
move on.
deserves
that's
it.
awesome. Yeah, he deserves it. He's adding real value to the community and also to other people. Just
Can
To
we
the
can we
fucking
do a?
world,
f-
right?
amazing, man.
Can you guys all do me a favor? If I can wait.
I know what you want.
Gosh, I can't even find it. I can't even find this Discord. Oh, I
What are
found
you
it.
trying to do, Dom?
Can
Now I don't know.
can everyone give Stardust Economy a W? This is the one time I'm asking in the show. Can we give Stardust Economy a W here? Because it is absolutely incredible what he's doing, and I really do appreciate what the hell he's doing. And it's just it's a good message, and I wanna give that W.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great. It's
like
awesome. It's
thi-
clear big
this.
W.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that we need to enforce in our community. Personally, I feel that if we are here right now, we are all blessed. We are all, in a good position to help others. And seeing members of our community to actually do something like that, like Archetype does, like he does, I mean, this fills my heart with joy. This shows me that I'm in the right place with good people that care about others. And as we grow as a community, as we grow as a project, I feel that we should strive to keep doing more. We need to do more. We need to always do more. And we have the means, we have the people. So those guys are setting the example and we must follow. This is
Yeah,
very important for me
well
personally.
said, well said, Jose. Yeah, it's nice being surrounded by people like this. But yeah, let's get started. Santi, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we can get started. So we will go to the main topic now, which is multi-faction guilds. And again, this is a very interesting conversation. This is probably going to be the last time in a while that we go and speak about this, but should be what Dom will call a spicy topic, and
Man, how did
everyone
I get
has
this
their opinions.
nickname?
Not
How
the
did I get this
spicy, bro.
nickname?
Not the
Yeah,
spicy.
I someone wanted you to have the username Star Spicy, like Star Sapa.
My God, we need that.
My gosh.
I mean, yeah, you just need to be careful, or you end up with nicknames. That's life.
Yeah, I guess
That's how
that's life.
life
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
but
can you give us
just the
some
context.
context though? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, I will change topic. So for creating guilds, So yeah, guys, the context here is that for creating guilds, there seems to be two metas. So one is being a single faction guild, and other being a multi-faction guild. And there are a lot of different opinions on what is better, or if it's even worth it to be multi-faction, or if multi-faction guilds will have advantages over certain things. And it's a never-ending discussion. It's a never-ending discussion. But we have a few questions to discuss here, just between us and with the audience, on on this topic. So, anything you want to add to the context, Jose or Tom? Anything I missed before we go to the questions?
No, I think we
No, I'm
can
feeling good, man.
start it. Yeah.
We took 27 minutes to get started in the main topic today, so
Yeah.
I just wanna get going.
Yeah, I first want to pick your brains, Jose and Dom, and then let's see what the community thinks about it. But the big thing here, and I think this is one of the most interesting points of view here, is the loyalty aspect of the game. So loyalty is going to be key in game. Who you're loyal to, and what do you do for your guild, for example. But we all know that on in Sage, people are going to be fighting for their factions and the territorial conquest and the resources that it brings with it. So I'm curious, like Jose, Dom, you are not in a guild. So what do you think that a guild member will do if they are in a multi-faction guild? And there will be a point in which the decision of what is better for the faction is not the same for the guild. It might actually not be good for the guild. For
Yeah,
example,
this
conquering a certain star base.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
who are they going to be loyal to?
Dude, okay, this is the big question, right? Because let's say someone is joins the game and they choose the Oni faction, then they choose a multi faction guild like Aphia, the Club, Chimera, whatever guild is multi faction, and then that guild does something that isn't beneficial to the Oni faction. That new member, is he going to choose? Okay, am I going to be loyal to this multi faction guild, or am I going to be loyal to my Oni faction? And that's where like a lot of my questions come in. Like, I mean, it's so tough, right? Because like your faction is your faction. That's your in game. That's like your people. Uh, and the guild, I don't know. I just don't know. I just
It's
don't
their
know
people
who
as
I would.
well. The
Yeah,
guild is their people as well, you
yeah.
know?
It's like your real life people, but then it's also your in game people. So like, there's I don't know where I would go. I That is such a hard question. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I would lean towards because I'm playing Star Atlas for the immersion, and I think I would lean towards I want to support my faction, which is why I think there might be some issues with something like that. But that is just my opinion. Just my opinion here. Interested to hear others, but I feel like I would be more loyal to my faction. Jose, what do you
To
think?
your
Yeah.
faction.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are important considerations here, right? Just to add more complexity to an already complex issue, in Star Atlas, your reputation, your standing with your faction is influenced by your game standing, right? You have reputations with your faction, with the manufacturers of your faction, and this will open up paths for you to get recipes and gains perks. On the other hand, you have your guild, and as you guys said, mostly the initial reaction is to be uh, to help your guild despite the circumstances and even prioritize the guild over the faction. But what if your guild suddenly vanishes or it's destroyed and now you have ruined your reputation, your standing with your faction? You know, this creates another layer of risk when players need to make strategic decisions about who or what they are supporting in game. And I don't know, this is hard. This is
I mean,
surely
do
hard.
you think other guilds, like let's say a guild fails, like a multi-faction guild fails or something, and that person who was loyal to the guild over the faction, Do you think other guilds would care, Jose?
I think so. I think so. I think that in Star
Mm.
Atlas and in blockchain in general, it's impossible to hide your past. You know, you have a
Mm.
reputation. It's easy to someone with an understanding of blockchain logics, and maybe even in game we can create the user experience for it to be easy to track someone's history inside Star Atlas. People will know what you do or what you did and the stances that you took on a variety of situations, from voting on police propositions to uh, standing to defend a planet, or even by trying to help attackers against your own guild, against your own faction, to help or support your guild plans. So yeah, you need to take care of this kind of behavior, because no one knows the day of tomorrow. And in Star Atlas, reputation is everything, as we were discussing right now.
Mm. I mean, it is a good point. It is definitely a good point. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one.
Yeah, I mean, in any game, I think, but in Star Atlas, even more. Like trust and reputation is huge, and if you sometime make a decision that probably doesn't benefit your faction, but it does benefit your guild, then all the other people that are in your faction are not going to trust you anymore, probably. So yeah, it's
I don't
decisions.
I don't know. That's a tough one, but yeah. Yeah, it's a good question.
Imagine, let's go wild here with our imaginations for a second. Imagine that everyone in your faction knows that you are playing against the faction's interest, and then they pass a faction vote to expel you from your faction,
Oh my god, bro.
and then
Jose, you think that would actually happen?
you lose access to your central space station land because you can't reach it any longer. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of thing that I am 100% sure that will happen in the
Ma-
future.
Man, do you guys really think other people are gonna care that much? Like to the point of like exiling them? I feel like maybe like in the future, uh, or maybe even like as we start out, because the community is so like tight knit and everyone knows each other. But as things go on and as we get bigger and bigger, if someone like was in a multi-faction guild, not everyone can keep tabs on every single player in the ecosystem. So I don't know about that.
But
Yeah, I
your
posted
guild
a
master
poll.
will know, man. Your guild master will know. And let's say if someone like the head of Aethia, like Funcracker, comes and tell everyone in the faction that you betrayed the trust of the faction, I'm sure as hell they can push up to have you politically penalized for your actions. Not saying that Funcracker would do that, but he has the kind of influence to do something like this. The big guild leaders, the the guys that are well known across the community. I feel that your personal instance in game will be watched at all times, and this is another weapon that might be even used as a tool to make people move and behave in certain ways. For sure.
Hmm.
That's very
Okay.
interesting. Um, I posted a poll to know what the audience here thinks it's more important, like your guild or your faction. So if you want to go to the Atlas Brew chat and vote, that'll be awesome because I'm curious. Like, do you care more about your guild? Do you care more about your faction? And that is a big question. I mean, if you're in a single faction guild, you probably care about both, you know.
My brain
But
tells me guild. My brain tells me guild. My heart tells me faction. And that's what I'm
Yeah,
sticking
that's
with.
hard. That's hard. That's right. That's a
I
hard
mean, that
question.
question really only matters to the multi-faction, right? Because a single faction, you're
yeah,
loyal to both at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's true. Yeah.
hmm hmm that is true.
Good point.
Yeah, that is actually true. But yeah, I think if there are not any more comments on this, we can move to the next question that we have. Okay.
I'm ready.
So yeah, I'm curious if you feel like there are combat advantages on being a multi-faction guild. So I know you care a lot about combat and all that. So what do you think about that? Like just being a multi-faction guild will give you advantage. Maybe it gives you intel on how the other factions are organizing themselves or something like that.
Yeah, so a multi-faction guild has a distinct advantage, being that so let's start off with how a combat works in Sage. A combat works when one player starts a combat with another player, so that's one faction versus one faction. Now, when other players want to join that battle, they can't make it one faction versus one faction versus one faction. The factions have to choose a side. So where a multi-faction has benefits here is the third faction can all just join the other side, one of the sides, and that this is going to result in sometimes a faction fighting against itself because the multi-faction guild is sending, let's say it was Mud versus Oni, and the multi-faction guild says, "Hey, we're going to go support our Oni guild member here." And Mud members join that Oni member. So now it's Mud versus Oni versus Ooster. You know? So it's going like that's where the advantage lies, is that the multi-faction guild can help in combat. They have that third faction to always help. As long as they're, they they have good structure, they know what they're doing, they communicate and stuff like that. Like they have a crazy distinct advantage actually. I mean, we'll see how it all plays out, but that is a pretty big advantage to me. If they're just communicative and they have structure, it sounds pretty broken actually. So I don't
And
want this
Yeah.
to
information,
always
right?
be
Well,
like, yeah, I don't want this to always be like I don't want it to always feel like I'm not supportive of the multi-faction guilds. Like there are distinct advantages for sure. Like um if you are good with the structure, if you are good at organizing your guild, then I think it can be a big success. I think you can get more players. I think you have distinct advantages in game. I just think it's harder. So I just want to make sure that's clear that I don't think multi-faction guilds will never work. Absolutely not. I just think they're a little bit harder to pull off.
hmm, I wonder, Jose, how do you look at this from a political standpoint? Like, what could happen
Yeah.
to a multi-faction guild that goes against the faction? And like, just people in that faction kind of like working against the faction interests.
Yeah.
That
There
would
is
have really
that's
huge
that
consequences.
that's the biggest risk in my opinion, Santi. Because there is one lever that the faction DAO can pull inside the Star Atlas game. If you check the economic paper, you see the a more precise description of what it is. But the faction DAO can set up faction wide objectives. Uh, Something like, for example, declare total war in a said star system. So, for example, you can set your faction objective as conquering one of the other factions' star system, if we get into war, of course, or maybe even to defend a specific star system. Multi-faction guilds, in this sense, they could use their police voting power to try to uh, prevent or stimulate the system that gives faction wide buffs for every player in that faction to try to direct the expansion and wars of the factions, you know. And this is the biggest strength, in my opinion, of the multi faction guilds, the ability to use or participate in the three faction DAOs at the same problem at the same time, you know. And this
Yeah.
to get the information that they have by having bases, unchallenged bases at every faction safe zones and star systems. For me, this is another huge advantage.
Man, I was just thinking. You brought up a thought in my mind. Like, imagine I imagine I'm a new player, right? And I don't know anything about this, like multi-faction guild stuff. And I join Sage. I load in, and I start going around, and I go to my star base, my Oni star base, and all of a sudden I see my own faction helping like Ooster take over our star base. I'm like, why are you trolling? Why are you griefing? What's going on here? What? Like, I would be in chat flaming this person. I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? Well, you're like, why are you helping the other faction get our star base? Blah blah blah. Like, that's what I would think as a new player. So that's another thing. As we
Yeah,
get new players, they're gonna be like, what the hell is
and
going on?
just one clarification. I think before Justin Michael kills me in the chat, um, from my understanding, it is not possible to be a mod defense and fight against mod in Sage. Like, you will have the option to join the battle, uh, but you won't be able to fight against your own faction. So how you maybe could game that is being, for example, like intentionally incompetent or spying on your own faction or something like that, you know, technically. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, the sage, the combat in sage is automatic.
Yeah,
It's not
but
going to be like skill based.
what could happen here, Sant, is that, for example, let's say you are a mud member, and then you see the Usturs and Oni fighting in a star system. You might choose to fight for the Usturs, while other mud players might choose to fight for the Onis, you know? And in this scenario, you'd be attacking each other, even
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
same your factions, you know? This is the only
yeah. What
circumstance
can be
that
done
could
is
get.
that, like,
Yeah,
yeah, that third faction to have to make the decision on fighting, deciding who to fight for or together, you know? So in a multi-faction guild, maybe the multi-faction guild says, okay, guys, for our guild, it's better if Oni wins this. So it's Oni versus Mod, and all the Usters in that guild join the Oni side, you know? Something like that is
exactly.
what we're talking about. Yeah.
I want to say so many things, but I can't.
Do
Oh,
Man,
it.
Lucius, say
God.
something. Come on, man.
He's
Here,
I mean,
speaking.
here,
Cabrera is one of the largest multi-faction guilds, you know? So, I mean, I want to hear how you guys plan to use your advantages, how you guys plan to compete, what you guys think about all this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm here for it, man.
Darth Lucius time. Go, man.
Um, let's see. Without spilling much of the beans,
Spill
I
the beans.
think that there are a lot of things to be considered. I think if you actually check what's posted, like say in chat, most of those statements are correct, but they come from a very simplistic approach to what might be happening with multi-faction guilds. Because at the end of the day, you can have a big guild like ours or AFIA, who are brothers and sisters to us. But if you actually are able, and again, I don't want to leak this because that's pretty much the way that we are working it, and so far we have theorized that it's going to work. Remember that a guild can be big, but we have to win small battles. Those small battles, depending on the faction that you choose, provide very specific benefits and verticals that you will have to approach regardless. So if you adjust each faction to a very specific goal and the goal, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, you will be able to avoid somehow the negative aspects of having those three factions as part of your ranks. That's number one. Number two, remember also that multi-faction guilds will be allied not only with other multi-faction guilds, but with like guilds that have only one faction. So what
Oh,
happens if
wow.
what happens if like someone makes the absurdly horrible mistake to try to attack us, as an example? We will have brothers and sisters fighting with us, but we will have also guilds that will be only mud or only ustur and only muds. So in a way, we can choose whether or not we have to approach a very specific conflict with a specific faction, And also, if this faction is involved fighting, the same faction or whatnot, we can also rely on sending our guys and girls from that exact same faction to engage on the conflict or not. So again, believe it or not, there are some very smart people already working their brains around this, and I think we have found a very good way to work around most of those things that could be considered negative. It's not going to be perfect, of course, but I think people are seeing it just on the pew pew pew, you die, my faction is going to be hour hour, and it's going to be a problem. But if you actually go more granular than that, there are always ways to be able to circumnavigate all those instances and actually use the resources from the three factions, the reach from the three factions, the star-based presence from the three factions, the logistics of being part of alliance with guilds that have multi factions and also only one faction. Because let me put it this way: if Dom is sitting, as an Ustur or whatever, as an Oni, whatever little thing you like, and we need to get rid of you, uh, would it be better to send a guild or allies or mercenaries or bounty hunters from that specific faction that you have? Uh, or just use a blockade, of multi factions around you and starve you to death because you will not be able to access any resources and stuff like that if you choose to have other factions to assist you as well and stuff. I mean, there are multiple ways in which you can do that. I remember a meeting that we had about this, and it was like, I think 4.5 hours just thinking about, bullet points and things that we have to see. So, uh, I'm sorry for the long answer, but basically, there's already big brains thinking about this, and I think we have figured out ways to do it to our advantage. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. Thank you for the very detailed answers, Lucius. I love it. It makes us think, and I know you guys, not only you, but a lot of people are already thinking about this and getting deep into the technical stuff on how can you work around a few of the things and just manage everything in a more effective way. And
The caveat,
I saw, yeah,
the
no,
caveat. I'm
please go
sorry,
for it.
Santi, and just to close, the caveat is that what Dom said is correct. It is going to be much more complex, and I agree with that 100%. Like it's easier if you're mud just to shoot other mud and so on and so forth. But um, if we're able to pull it off, it's gonna be it's gonna be good. Let's leave it like that. It's gonna be very rewarding. It's gonna take a lot of moving pieces here and there and a lot of coordination. But if we can pull it off, it's gonna be pretty massive for us. So, and I think we're on the right track. And I know also other guilds like AFIA and other multi-faction guilds are already working on it as well. So it's gonna be very interesting because it's going to tell you who is going to. I would guess I would call it go the extra mile to make things interesting. So it's going to be fun.
I mean,
No,
Lucius, I have a question for you here, man. I saw Benny say something like, if a multi-faction guild is passive, they'll be successful. Do you agree with something like that?
Nobody can be passive. Nobody can be neutral. No,
Mm,
that's not happening. I think the only way that you'll be able to avoid that if you're in a will be with the zone that you will reside. Technically, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to just like get into Sage to just plant flowers and have a dog and a white picket fence, I mean, you can do that. But if you're on high risk zones, I don't think neutrality is going to be worth much at some point. It's going to be to your advantage for a while, but someone will be knocking on your door eventually. So, and at the end of the day, please correct me if I'm wrong. I have you three here. That's the end game, right? I heard on the title of the game something about space domination and influence and stuff like that. So
of course, of course. That brings up
Yes.
another thing, like high risk zone. Like what if one of your guild members, like of like the Mud faction, accidentally attacks a member of the Oni faction, and then like he loses his ship or something? How do you like? It's just like my mind goes so many places and so many like different like scenarios that possibly could happen, and I'm like, dude, that sounds awful.
Yeah, man. There will be internal guild psychology sessions or something, just to solve all these issues, because that is going to happen. And that, if something like that starts in your guild where two people from different factions, but in the same guild, are fighting against each other, and it becomes a huge thing. Like it's on the guild to try to avoid that from becoming a huge thing, and just try to make peace internally. So yeah, there's a lot of things that comes with management of
Yeah, the
a
high risk zone
multi-faction
stuff.
guild.
Yeah, there might. Yeah, like I said, I think there could be like some kind of like management that kind of makes instances like this extremely far and in between. Like maybe like your guild, if you want to go into the high risk zone, you have to communicate that you're going into it, and so like your whole guild knows who in the guild is in the high risk zone at all times, and maybe they have to go together or something like that. Something along those lines is what I'm trying to say. I don't know exactly how it would work. I'm just saying there's probably ways to get around what I just said. I'm just thinking of like all the different things that could possibly be a complication. I'm like, man, that just sounds like a headache. I mean, I have full faith in like, the multi-faction guilds to figure it out. I'm just kind of, bringing up the dialogue, bringing up the questions that I
Yeah,
have.
and I saw a comment from Lloyd that it's actually very valid, which is this issue of like who do you decide to fight for? It's not only going to happen like between guild members like internally and guilds with the faction, but also like between different guilds because there are cross faction alliances happening as well. So what happens if an ally of yours needs to conquer a starbase, but for you that is not convenient at all? Like that's going to be very, very interesting to see. That's also another problem. I'm not sure how many. Like I know, for example, the Eusters have the Euster Security Council, but I'm not sure if in between the Eusters it is allowed for a guild to have an alliance with the mod, like with another faction guild. I'm honestly very curious about that.
Man, there's so many
But
roads we could go down, dude. This is why this topic excites me so much because I think there are some apparent benefits to being multi-faction, but then there's like other people who are loyal to their faction, where like the single faction guilds have their their alliances together, like the Ooster sector and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, like the political stuff that's gonna happen between all these different moving parts is gonna be so fun. uh, I mean, I say it's gonna be fun, but it's probably gonna be spicy. But
Well,
yeah,
Do you
no,
know?
it gets
always
me
guess
excited,
what's
man.
hype.
It does.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times a day a corporation is attacked by an allied corporation in Eve, for example, or how many times a day an allied org is having an event on Jumptown in Star Citizen. It happened to us the other day. Actually, we were having this shutdown of Jumptown to smuggle drugs out of there. If you're into Star Citizen, you know what I'm talking about. And this allied org attacked us. There was like five of them, and there was this little fun engagement for a while, and we had to actually go back and report to that org leadership, like, hey, your guys jumped us, and they were not supposed to do that. So it's all about the backbone of the alliances that you have, how you document your movements and stuff like that. So that's gonna happen with uh mud guilds and stuff like that. So I don't think it's actually something that will be only happening with the multi-faction aspect of it all. At the end of the day, is reliability, and people have to understand that there's people behind all these initiatives. So it's all about human error and other things. So
Yeah, it's a good point. And I have a couple questions that I'm looking at Santi on the Security Council, the Ooster Security Council. Did you
yeah,
leak something here, bro?
no, 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 no. This was even a topic on a brew, I remember. But it's only that the Eusters, the guilds are just working behind the scenes, the Euster guilds, and they have a council that they put together just for security reasons for the Euster faction. Um, and they even had announcements and everything. I remember the banners with the flags of each of the guilds that formed it. I remember Dark. I remember Banana Dao. I remember um, Heimdall. So Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
political gameplay happening behind the scenes for sure, already happening. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
man.
Thank you, Agonact.
That gets me
Yeah,
excited.
there you. Yeah, yeah. There you see the guild and the different members. So very interesting. Very interesting. Poke the
Mm.
Pirate says if those Uster guilds are able to be multifaction, I'm pretty sure they're only Uster. Like
Yeah,
if
I
an
think
Uster
all those guilds are
security
Ooster.
council guild, yeah, it will just be weird if you're part of a security council and you are multifaction. Um, uh, will be a little bit weird.
Man,
But
this
yeah, man,
topic
like
always
the
has me
Usters are
smiling, dude.
getting organized.
I love this topic.
Yeah,
Ah, that's so cool.
yep. There's just way too many things about it. And we're not only going to see this actually happening until it's everything is live, like, and I'm sure it's going to be way too different on how we are imagining it right now. Like, it's going to
Yeah,
be spicy.
that's a good point. I think, like, a lot of the things we're just gonna have to learn over time as we get the game mechanics, as we learn all the things that we need to learn as the game continues to be built. I'm sure the meta, quote unquote, will change. Maybe like at some point it's gonna be a super low point, like for like multi faction guilds. Maybe they're gonna be like, man, this just doesn't seem like it's gonna work. But then a mechanic gets introduced and they're like, oh no, this is actually the ideal way to play, or something like that. Just an example. It could be the complete opposite way, but I think as we learn more game mechanics, I think we'll learn how both single faction and multi faction guilds can operate and should operate, which is super exciting stuff. I know this is just theory crafting, but it is super fun to still talk about it.
I mean, yeah, the guilds and people who care about it are the ones who are going to have the advantage. Like, if when the stage gameplay starts moving and the gameplay in general starts happening, you're caught by surprise because you didn't think about all this. I'm sure your guild is going to be wrecked for sure, because there are guilds that are thinking about it already. There are guilds that are forming alliances, and you just don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be destroyed by these people who are actually thinking about the future. So yeah, it's very interesting for sure. Jose, is there anything you want to add here?
Man,
The
I love
penguin
seeing
brain
this.
with all this
I
politics gameplay is probably going crazy.
Yeah, man.
Penguin
I
bones
am.
trembling.
I love it. I love the the speech that Lucius shared with us. It's really interesting to see what he's comfortable with disclosing, and more interesting what he's not comfortable in disclosing. So yes, as you guys are saying, we see the beginning of Sage gameplay, and we are getting there, guys. The treasure hunt is coming. It's the first interaction of Sage, and soon enough, everyone will be having fun together in our galaxy. And we'll see how the different theories and behaviors from the guilds, the factions, and the players will work out in this space opera. I'm super excited.
Yep. And Lloyd made a
Awesome.
good point where people are gonna make loads of mistakes, and we're just gonna test things out and see how it goes as time goes on. Like I said, so it's gonna be really exciting to see. And like I said, I think this might be the last time we talk about multi-faction guilds for a little bit until there's something actually to talk about. But I'm sure we'll talk about it again at some point. When we learn game mechanics and see how things are actually going.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see how much of a conversation this is going to be moving forward, because right now there's like no actual gameplay related to this, and you can be speaking about it like all day just because of the many possibilities that there are. So just imagine when it actually starts happening. Like, we're going to need brews about only this and try to solve issues between factions and multi-faction guilds. Man, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. So I just can't wait to see everything in motion. Um, but yeah, anything else, Dom, or just say you guys want to add before we close?
No, that's it, man.
Okay.
Just thank you guys all for coming today. It was a
Thank
great
you,
Yeah.
great
everyone. It
conversation.
was really fun.
Yeah, before closing, I know that Bulk is hosting a tournament. So I'm not sure if I see Egonite, I see Valdron in the chat. So if you guys want to share the link to the tournament so people can take a look, it sounds very interesting. So, and I think it's happening right now. So yeah, if anyone from Bulk wants to share that, just feel free to go ahead and share it so people can check it out. Um, so yeah, that was my last thing. Hopefully someone from Bulk posts it in the chat and you guys can check it out. Again, always the Atlas Brew chat. But yeah, I think it was a great conversation. Oh yeah, and Corey's live. Corey's live. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Atlas Leaks. That is true. So you can go and purchase Core on play.stratlas.com or Magic Eden. And yeah, and go check out the Bulk Guild Twitch because the tournament is happening. So yeah, this was all. Thank you guys for the brew. Thank you for being here as always. It's going to be very very fun moving forward. And yeah, oh, I see the chat. Egonact saying that Club, Star Atlas Italia, and Eclipse are fighting right now live on Twitch.
Oh,
So that
let's
is
go.
interesting. Just go and check it out, guys. Yeah, go and check it out. And thank you so much for joining, everyone. We love you. This is the Brew family. I love it. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Ciao.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.